and this is the 2024 Kia EV6 Land. What does Land mean, Charlotte?
It means today is Earth Day, so we are talking about land.
Wow, that just went
Perfect
together
segue.
so well. So seriously, the Land package is something that's a little bit different for
Absolutely.
Kia, and I should say Kia Canada in general. It's a new naming platform, and essentially whenever we reach something that has Land in its name, that's when we're going to get all-wheel drive incorporated into the vehicle. So this vehicle is a fully electric EV, and that's going to incorporate dual motors, one in the front, one in the rear, to give you 454 kilometers of all-electric range, and of course all-wheel drive, which we know and love here in Canada.
Absolutely.
In today's walkthrough, we're going to take you through a total walking tour of this vehicle, from the exterior to the mechanical bits, and then also the interior and the comforts.
Absolutely.
So me and Charlotte will be your guides through this whole experience, and we do these videos for a couple different reasons. Charlotte, do you know why?
Absolutely. So first off, I will say that these videos are live streamed, which means this is all happening in real time, and we're doing it in one take.
Yes.
And we do these videos that way. If you guys own Kia or Hyundai product, we want you guys to be your own experts on the vehicle. Also, if you are searching for a new or pre-owned Kia or Hyundai, why not buy it from us? We are a real dealership, and you should be considering them maybe for your next vehicle. And if you want to get into one, why not contact us? We're here at Brantford Kia. We also have Brantford Hyundai and Owenstown Hyundai if you want to get into the Hyundai of your dreams.
All right, well, I think we should get right into it.
Tried to keep it concise today.
So yeah, we're working on shortening our intros, but still getting all that information up there. And of course, this is a full in-depth walkthrough, so we're going to try to go over as much as we can in this video without making it a little too long.
But do we also have a dedicated Q&A at the end of the video?
We do have a dedicated Q&A, so if there's something you'd like to know about this vehicle and you are live streaming with us right now, or you're watching our live stream in real time, you can actually let us know what you'd like to see in this car, and we can always make sure to get to it at the end of the video. So first things first, the body. The EV6 is built on the eGMP platform, and I understand platform is it's the P in GMP, but EGM platform. And essentially, this is also what the EV9 is built on in future EVs to come. It's almost a skateboard-like style, allowing the designers at Kia to extend or shorten the vehicle as they see best. This vehicle has a 77.4 kilowatt-hour lithium-ion polymer battery that never gets easier to say, but that is going to allow this vehicle to have 454 kilometers of all-electric range, and the dual motors will give you that all-wheel drive that you're looking for. This vehicle performs exceptionally well in the snow that we experience here in Canada, but also just our regular driving. So it's a quite nice vehicle. If you do have an eco mode, it's going to primarily use the rear motor, so giving you a little bit more range or more usable range for your day-to-day needs, but you also have a sport mode and normal mode. If you're wondering what the power is like on one of these bad boys, well, 320 horse and 446 pound-feet of torque. So although this isn't a sports car, it definitely has that get up and go that you may be looking for. You don't have to go to the higher trims for that kind of performance. When you look at the front end of the vehicle, you'll notice our LED headlights and this almost clamshell style hood. It's absolutely stunning, the EV6 to look at. It's by far one of the best looking EVs on the market if you ask me. I might be a little bit biased, but Charlotte, would you agree?
Absolutely.
And you're not biased, are you?
No, not at all.
I really do love the headlights. So full LED, like I mentioned, your positioning lights will also be LED. I would like to see fog lights on this EV6, but it's okay. That's something for the future maybe. When you take a look at the front end, you'll notice there's not too much going on, but it's not as blank as some of the other EVs out there. Tesla, I'm looking at you. So we have a really good amount of design elements into the front of the vehicle. And if you take a closer look down here, you have this rectangular plate. Now this plate's actually a fantastic safety feature. It's going to be utilized for a couple different things. So number one, your forward collision avoidance. This vehicle is going to monitor the distance of the car ahead of you, and if it senses the risk of a collision, it'll actually stop for you. So it's going to work for pedestrians, cyclists, other vehicles on the road, and even junction turns. So if you're making a left at a busy intersection, your car is always watching, but please make sure you are too. On top of that, that's also going to be used for something called highway drive assist and just regular smart cruise control. So this car will actually slow you down for a safe distance. You get to choose between 4 different presets and make sure you're always at that safe setting, and of course speed you up if you do get into faster conditions or slower conditions. It'll actually take you to a complete halt if need be. For your wheels, you're going to get 19-inch alloys, and these, it may look like these are black inserts, but they're actually gray. Big change. You're going to get the full black if you go to the GT line package 1. Big change, guys. So you have 19-inch wheels, providing a very quiet drive and a very nice experience. Also a little bit cheaper than getting wheels for the GT line 2, which has 20-inch alloys. So save you a couple dollars in the winter. Not by a lot, though. They are pretty expensive to get winter tires, but totally worth it if you are living somewhere with icy, snowy roads. The body of the vehicle, it's an SUV, I should say, but it has that sporty, sleek look, so you don't have to feel like you're driving a boring car. A lot of people sometimes connotate EVs with boring, and that just doesn't make sense. This car's pushing 446 torque, pound-feet of torque, I should say. There's nothing boring about it. When it comes to charging, though, the EV6 has that great eGMP platform, like I mentioned, and you can actually charge this vehicle with a fast charger, which you may have to look a little bit to find, from 10% to 80% in 18 minutes. So pretty quick. When it comes to cargo space, it's actually quite usable. So I do think whenever we film these vehicles, it's kind of concealing how much space there really is. You may not see it from the outside, but once you actually go inside the vehicle or into the trunk area, you'll notice there's a lot of usable space. I, of course, have the mats in here taking up a bit of room. And then if you need to, you can fold down the second row with these levers here, and they go completely flat. So if you have the rear passengers there, you have even more usable space. You can live in your car if you want. It's a pretty nice place to be, actually. So let's close this up. Full LED taillight bar expanding the entirety of the rear end of the vehicle. So we talked about horsepower specs, we talked about range specs. Charlotte, what other specs should we talk about for this car? Like what it comes with.
Yeah.
So another reason why I think this vehicle is a top pick for colder weather like we have here in Canada is it has a battery management heating system and a heat pump. So in the past, so let's say the Soul EV, for example, you'd have to go to the higher trim levels to get a heat pump, which is, I wouldn't say a complete must-have, but a very, very nice to have here in Canada. And now you get it standard on the EV6. Doesn't matter what trim level you're gonna get, you'll get the heat pump. So very, very nice to have in our colder climate. The price tag is over 58,000 Canadian, but you do qualify for the $5,000 federal rebate, and depending on what province you're in, you may get a provincial rebate on top of that. So it can be quite affordable. Of course, EVs are still a little bit more expensive, but if you're looking for something that fits your family, suits that all-wheel drive need, and looks and drives real nice, the EV6 is definitely something to consider. Charlotte's going to take you guys on a tour inside the vehicle to talk about some of the other things I may have missed. I don't know if you guys can tell.
You didn't talk about the inside, so you're good there, don't worry.
We're kind of out of it today.
Okay, so let's hop inside, and first thing I will talk about is going to be our door handles. We do have digital key on this vehicle, meaning when you do have your smartphone paired, you actually can use it to open your vehicle, which is something that is really cool. Now, I know a lot of people don't like the fact that these aren't automatic or auto pop-out handles, but I will say it's one of those features where if it's your vehicle and you're doing it every day, you don't even think about it. Like, it's just really easy, just kind of pop it open, and you actually can do it with one hand too. So that's just a little bit of a thought. Ooh, it's warm in here. We're sitting outside in the sun because we're finally getting warm here in Southern Ontario. All right, let's take a look at the door and basically go through what we have here. So first off, I will mention speakers. When it comes to speakers, we do have 6 in the vehicle, and it's just a regular sound system, no Meridian, no Bose, no Harman Kardon, just regular in-house sound. But one of my favorite features that we do have, especially since this is only one up from the base, and pretty much everything you're seeing here is standard, but we do have the inclusion of memory seats, and that's also going to include the settings for your mirrors. If you haven't noticed, your mirrors, they are black body colored, and they are power folding, which means I can set them with my memory seats and I can, at the click of a button, have everything just the way I want it, even if someone else is driving my vehicle, and I don't have to rearrange anything, which is great.
Charlotte, can you pop them out one more time? Just want to talk about something I missed, because I'm totally out of it today. This little icon here, that is a blind spot detection icon, I should say, and that illuminates when there's a vehicle in either your blind spot, left or right.
Oh.
Both. Both of them. And
I didn't hear the question.
If Charlotte was driving and she went to go indicate a turn to the left and there was a car in her left blind spot, it would let her know inside and also illuminate on the mirror. We got a couple questions about charging, so do you mind popping open the charge door?
Sure.
It's located on the right rear end side of the vehicle and it's powered. Something that they have added, which I'm so thankful for, is an LED light. So if you are plugging in your car at nighttime, you can actually see what you're doing now. This is your state of charge indicator. Right now it's fully illuminated, meaning that it is fully charged. And then of course, if you're DC charging, you will also use this bottom portion here. It is confirmed that Kia will eventually switch to the North American charging standard, so Tesla type chargers. Now that I want to say will be in the 2025 model year, but that has not been 100% confirmed for us. But however, you could still AC charge, DC charge, and like I said, if you find a proper charger, you can expect 10 to 80% in 18 minutes with this vehicle. Pretty cool, eh?
Definitely. When it comes to our seats, I will mention that we do have a leatherette seating surface with a cloth mix. So that is going to be on the inside, but again, still super comfortable. And these are going to be heated seats for the driver and for the passenger. And then we also have tons of ways to configure our seat. We've got our regular, just standard 6-way power adjustable, but we also have the inclusion of 2-way lumbar support. So we do have 8 different ways that we can configure and save our seats.
Ooh.
I'll show over here and then I'll have Gabby come around. But we've got our brightness adjuster, door, your controls for your charge door, electronic parking brake, and if you'd like to turn off your traction control.
Perfect. Let's go around.
Go
Do you want
around.
to pop the frunk?
I was just thinking that.
All right, so clamshell hood. Guys, keep in mind, this is not the biggest frunk available. Oh, it's hard to open with one hand. There we go. All right, it's not the biggest frunk in the EV6 lineup, but think of this as extra space. If you're coming from a gas car, you're probably used to not having any front space. So mini frunk, you could definitely put your level 1 charger here. I don't know, whatever other things you may want in your journey. They close that up, and you still have your regular fluids like your washer fluid and whatnot. Close this. The hood is absolutely stunning. I think the EV6, like I mentioned earlier, by far one of the best looking EVs out there right now. Do like the look a little bit more than the Hyundai Ioniq, but don't tell Hyundai. Let's go inside. Hey, Charlotte.
Hey. So right off of the bat, I do want to point out the fact that we have a floating center console, and which means we have all of this usable space down here where we're going to have a USB, USB-C, 12 volt, or we've got another USB-C and a 12 volt. And I want to point out that the reason that we're able to do this floating center console is exactly because of the platform that Gabby mentioned at the start of this video, the eGMP. So that enables you to pretty much build from a flat surface, and is where we're going to get a lot of usable legroom here. So usable storage room and then usable legroom for our second row. But let's talk about what else we have. I'll direct your attention to the steering wheel. Every vehicle has one, which I think is pretty cool to include. But you can see that it is leather wrapped, it's fully heated, and we actually have a fair bit going on here. So over here, you're going to be able to access your smart cruise control, highway drive assist, lane keep assist, lane follow assist, and then also kind of toggle through your center screen. And then on this side is going to be your media controls like virtual assistant, media modes, volume, channel. But then down beneath, we also have our drive mode select. So not only do we have 3 drive modes, but if you press and hold, you actually are able to put the vehicle into snow mode, which is excellent considering the fact that this is all-wheel drive and we live in Canada. So what that's going to do is pretty much it's going to change how the vehicle responds if there is a little bit of excess wheel spin to give you a little bit more traction control, and it's going to do that in conjunction, of course, with your traction control. As Gabby mentioned, also eco mode, and we've got sport mode, which I know James Bond was in our comments today saying that's the best way to drive it, and definitely couldn't agree more. But it will definitely take its toll on your range, which is why it's great that we have eco to balance them out. Well, maybe. Now behind the steering wheel, you can see I have 2 paddle shifters. These are really going to be used to adjust the amount of regenerative braking and the sensitivity or severity of it. Behind that, just lights and wipers. Everything's pretty normal there. And behind me, you'll see that we have a 12.3-inch TFT LCD supervision cluster. So that's going to be your main screen. It is fully digital with your speedometer, also your power gauges, and then of course, vehicle in the center, which you are able to cycle through, show tons of different of your safety features, drive info, directions, and also power distribution. And tires, woohoo. Now over on this side, speaking of 12.3-inch screens, we have not 1, but we've got 2 of them, of course, in this vehicle, which means that you can use it to stream your favorite podcast, which just so happens to be mine and Gabby's.
Wait, can you redline an EV?
Rumor has it in Hyundai's Ioniq 5N, you definitely can.
But
So,
there's only one way to know for sure.
you gotta watch our video.
Podcast.
Yeah, listen to our podcast. That too. But if you guys are interested in EVs, and especially the world of performance EVs, give our podcast a listen. I think you'll really enjoy this episode as we debunk and talk a little bit about electric performance vehicles. Now, if Apple CarPlay is not your thing, then you can switch back to our regular screen. And from here, of course, you're going to have your battery. You're going to be able to show all of your media controls. And then from here, your main controls, such as quiet mode, your designated EV button, Apple CarPlay also set up, and Kia Connect, which is standard on all vehicles with this, which is Kia's telematics system. So moving down, I guess, we'll talk about that. I will actually mention that this is very much driver focused. So you can actually see that this has a 10-degree slant towards the driver. That way it's nice and easy for me to use, but it's not so slanted and focused towards me that it's distracting or that Gabby can't use it too. So I think that that is valuable to point out. We do have vents, hazards, and then our switchable climate control, or switchable climate and infotainment cluster. Thank you. Or switchable controller. So right now you can see that it's set for climate, and from here you can also enable driver only to only focus on this area. That way you're not focused on heating or cooling the entire vehicle and using up some much needed power. And then of course you switch it from here, map, navigation, and then also tune knob and volume. I mentioned here that you have heated seats and a heated steering wheel, and down below you can see that we do have a wired connection for Apple CarPlay. Shift-by-wire gear shift, nothing too crazy here, but you do have a push to start, and it is in the center instead of being up here where typically we see it. Wireless phone charger, parking sensors and parking camera, along with auto hold in the center. And here's your camera. So this is going to be your rear view camera with dynamic guidelines, and it will come on, of course, if the vehicle is in reverse. The nice thing too is with those sensors around the vehicle is if it does detect something, it actually will give you an alert and a little item, kind of like a bar graph here, showing you how close, whether it be red, yellow, or green. Yeah, I know my colors, that's right. Wireless phone charger, as I mentioned, and then open that up. I was looking for a little lever, but it doesn't have one. You have a decent sized storage space here for your center console. Pretty deep. You could definitely fit like an umbrella or a water bottle in there, one of the smaller umbrellas, of course. And I like up here that you've got your cup holders and a little spot here, which would be great for your keys.
Absolutely. This
Awesome.
is my favorite part. Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
The glove box
Box.
Huge.
Massive.
It actually never ends. I can't reach the end.
Well, it's because there's not all that, you know, other stuff, engine bay built up in this area. You're able to get a little bit more space. But also, underrated features, there's little hooks here. So if you want to wrap your charge cable around if you're not using it, you can do so.
That's
Why
awesome.
not? I know, really cool, eh?
So
So little things.
we got asked about ventilated seats. This trim doesn't have it, but the GT Line 1 will and above. The only other EV6 that won't have it is the full GT. No ventilation in those seats.
No, weight reduction.
Yeah.
They're not even powered. They're manual. Weight reduction.
Yes.
Set it and forget it, I guess. Let's hop and we'll show you guys what the space is like in the back seat.
I love the glove compartment in my EV6. I sublet it out to my family.
You know what? In this economy, you got to do what you can.
Yeah.
All right, holy space, Batman. I don't know if you can tell. That was so lame. I'm so sorry. I don't know if you could tell how much space is back here, but Pat, also known as my dad, he daily drives an EV6 GT. So of course that is you're going to have a little bit less room in that vehicle, but I think you'd be surprised at how much space there is. He's also over 6 feet, and he can comfortably sit in the back seat or any of the other seats in the front too. I think it's really shocking, the space that you get here, and again, that's because you have a completely flat floor. So you have a completely flat space to work with and way more usable legroom.
Thanks, girl.
Also, if you can't tell, you can move these seats. So Gabby just showed you flipping it up and adjusting the amount of recline. You can't slide them forward or anything like that, but the recline is adjustable. You have USB-Cs back here too. You also have LED interior lights and some nice plastic pockets with some stretch for some privacy. Now you're probably looking at your center console and saying, Charlotte, something big is missing back here.
Where's the vents?
Rear vents. They're pillar mounted, baby. Don't worry, they're there.
Direct airflow.
Direct airflow. So that's absolutely one of my favorite features. That is I think it's actually becoming a non-negotiable for me, having some type of rear ventilation.
New EV6 demo for Charlotte confirmed?
Maybe. As you can see, we also have a center armrest that folds down with cup holders. Super fun. And also, if you don't want it to be cup holders, you can just put your phone in there. This just slides right back up. And then here you can see the space. No hump, completely flat, which means I can sit pretty back here. Sit comfortable back here. Yeah, love it. Live, laugh, love.
Live, laugh, love it. All right. Body of the vehicle, stunning. Stunning, stunning. On our Land packages, you're going to have this black trim around your wheel. The GT lines will be body color, so a little bit of a different look. But size of the vehicle will remain the same. There is one trim below this. It's called the Wind rear-wheel drive, and as you may imagine, it is rear-wheel drive.
The great thing about the Wind rear-wheel drive, though, is with that, obviously you lose all-wheel drive, but you're still getting a heat pump, you're still getting all of the same interior features, but you're also getting a bigger frunk because there's no front motor.
And a little bit more range as well.
Yep.
All right. So let us
Answer your questions.
camera up.
I don't know why I came and stood over here right away instead of coming over here.
Our camera's kind of in a different spot today.
Let us know what you guys think about that.
I don't know how I feel about it.
I don't know how I feel about it. It's kind of throwing me for a loop. Maybe that's why we're feeling so off today.
Let's see. Is there a hybrid version? Oh wait, no, that would be an EV6. Well, I will say I'm not exactly, I titled this video the 2024 Kia EV6 Land ! And that's because it truly is a question. I always want to call it the long range all-wheel drive.
Yes.
Because that's how it was introduced to Canada, and then they changed it to wind and land and earth
Which
and
is
fire.
the same naming platform that the US is doing.
Yeah. But I'm not used to it yet. Let's see. I'm just scrolling.
I haven't been able to get anything up yet.
Yeah. No, seriously?
Oh, there we go. Okay, got it.
I got asked about charge times. You can expect just over 7 hours if you're charging it at home with a level 2 charger. So pretty much most people would charge their vehicle overnight, or if they're working from home, they can plug it in while they're at work, or working, I should say. Also, at our dealership, we have a couple employees that drive EV6s. They charge it while they're working because we're a dealership and we got chargers. So yeah, you could really make it work. And then, of course, if you are using a DC fast charger, there's that 18-minute that I mentioned, which will give you 10 to 80%. But you can expect fast charge times regardless. Let's see, 73 minutes with the 50 kilowatt, which is what you're most likely to find. So that's not the shortest, but that would be for the full 10 to 80%. If you just need maybe 20%, 30%, that's when you're going to get that charge the quickest. And yeah. It tapers off as you get higher into your state of charge. So once you reach, I believe, 80, everything kind of slows down a little bit. But it's recommended to charge your vehicle to 80 anyway, just to 80. Which, it's been a while since we've had an EV information night or EV kind of talk. It is something we're planning in May, right?
Yep.
So if you are surrounding Brantford, if you're somewhere near Brantford, we definitely recommend you come by. We are planning kind of an information night for customers, people,
EV owners, people who are interested in EVs.
Absolutely, and kind of do a Q&A type thing in person. We'll probably have a presentation as well too, and explain best practices, also models, and what we can expect in the future from Kia.
Absolutely.
Speaking of, they teased the Tasman, which is a pickup truck. If you guys haven't seen that.
We're not going to say that we called it.
But we called it.
But I think we called it. Also, I'm laughing at this question, or at this statement from Cool Dude. Charlotte, I'm your #1 fan. I stopped eating Tim Hortons because you have beef with them. Thank you. You're a real one.
That is so true. If that's not love, then what is? I would love for y'all to have a video of the upcoming 2025 EVs. That'd be awesome. We would love to have the upcoming EVs in it. Unfortunately, we don't have that kind of pull.
Don't have that pull.
But we could talk about them.
Did you mention the paint color? This is
Yacht
blue.
Yacht blue.
Oh, I'm frozen again.
Let's see. They need more likes. Thank you so much for including what kind of sound system the car comes with. Where's the rear fridge? Soren asked. Yeah, we don't have that.
Yeah, good question.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, we should probably end off today's live video. It's already at the 23-minute mark, and I wasn't expecting it to be this long.
No.
Now, if you guys have any questions that we weren't able to answer during today's live, or if you're watching this in the future where we're no longer live, please leave it down below as a regular YouTube comment, and we'll definitely get to it. Until then, though, stay tuned for tomorrow.
Stay tuned for tomorrow. We'll see you then. Like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and we'll see you then.
See you next time.
Bye.
Oh, I slipped out of my shoe.